Magandang gabi Pilipinas, magandang gabi Communiverse. Welcome to the Best Talk. I'm so excited tonight because my guest is one of the most special people in the world. And I'm talking about the Queen, Moira de la Torre. Yeah, she's one of my last interviews before the lockdown. And I've been asking for Moira. Sabi ko, wala lang. She gives me good vibes every time she comes to my shows. But that's going ahead of the story. Punta muna tayo mga kaibigan, mga kakumo, sa trending celebrity news of the week. Trending celebrity news of the week. Okay. Saan natin ang ating trending celebrity news of the week, ang tawag doon ay Kumunaw. Okay? Kalimut ka agad, isang linggo lang hindi the Best Talk. Elena Darna at Derek Ramsey engaged na. I will admit, I was pleasantly surprised. But I was not shocked. I was not shocked because meron talagang ganun. Alam mong ito na, alam mong siya na. And sometimes, you don't need a long time to know that you want to marry this particular person. Each one of us is a story. May mga kaibigan tayo na mahaba ang getting to know process, takes them years, the process. Meron naman, one meeting, they got married, and they're still married to this very day. So, yung mga statements, halimbawa na sinasabi ni Derek, that game over, one of those texts, tama ba? Oo. I totally got that. I totally understood that. May mga nagsasabi rin na nahanap nilang isa't isa. That may make a lot of sense. It took a while because I'm sure they met somewhere because, they run in the same circle of friends. And I'm happy for them. I would like to be able to give them a chance. Not that they need, my blessing, but palagay ko, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon. Ako parati kong sinasabi, kaibigang Agamula, kasi Charlene Gonzalez, halos walang ligawan. They met, fell in love, and then got married. Meron namang mag-boyfriend ng matagal, tapos they got married. So, wala talagang formula. So, this is one of those pleasant surprises na bumulaga, ika nga, sa ating mga kababayan sa Communiverse ngayong linggo. Congratulations, Ellen and Derek. I'm sure hindi magtatagal, kasal na ang pinag-uusapan natin dyan. Sa mga panahong ganito, alam niyo po, I don't know why, because this pandemic has been creating a lot of paranoia, a lot of uncertainty. Ang lungkot-lungkot pag nanonood ka sa news, nagbabasa ka ng news, ganun, na minsan pag may mga balitang pagmamahalan, may mga balitang people falling in love with each other, parang napakagandang pakinggan. It's a nice breath of fresh air. Kaya sabi nga natin, dito halimbawa sa The Best Talk, it's we need to distract. We need to distract our attention because every day we feel so uncertain. Every day we feel so afraid, so frightened. Ako tatanggapin ko po, last year, takot ako, pero mas takot ako ngayon. I don't know why. Pero pinaglalabanan ko ito sa dasal, prayers, at saka yung support system mo. At saka ito, yung mga pagkakataon that you can distract yourself from, the darkness of this virus. I mean, do it. If you want to play games with your children, if you want to spend more time with your wife, husband in the garden, do it. Because you don't only take good care of yourself physically, but you have to take good care of yourself mentally, emotionally, intellectually. Kaya yun ang una nating balita, Ellen Adarna at Derek Ramsey. Ang pangalawa, Luis Manzano and Jessamine Diola kasal na. This is another surprise. Ang sarap. Kanina po, mga kakumo, ay nakausap ko si Luis at saka si Jessamine Diola. They're just very, very happy. Tinanong ko sila kung bakit April 4? Actually, wala silang paliwanag. Sabi nila, nangyari na ang nangyari. Sabi ko, naiintindihan ko kung bakit the farm sa San Benito because, of course, taga roon, matagal na nilbihan sa Batangas si Mayor V. Napakatagal na panahon. I mean, she's been serving Batangas for quite a while. And they just invited talagang family. But you know, I saw the posts, I saw the photos. Lovely wedding. Very intimate wedding. Mga kaibigan lamang, but it was so classy. So gusto ko siya. What Jessie wore, hindi ko alam kung anong tawag doon. May pagka-Grecian design. I loved it. I loved it. Ang nakakatuwa, sabi ko, Luis, totoo pala yung balita na, totoo pala yung tradisyon na mas umiiyak ang groom kesa sa bride. Sabi niya, oo nga eh. Kasi di ba iyak siya ng iyak. So, naging meme magnet itong pag-iyak ni Luis. But kanina when I was talking to them, they're just so in love with each other. I mean, wow, I'm just so happy for the both of them. And then I asked them, sabi ko, a hypothetical, after COVID, would you get married? Would you get married again? They're considering it. Wala pang kasagutan, pero siguro they wanted to share this with more friends and families. Hindi ko lang alam kung biro ito, pero napag-usapan namin na it may happen abroad or sabi ni Luis, ang make-up sa Rome, ang kasal sa Japan. Alam niyo naman si Luis. And by the way, ninong po ako ni Luis at saka ni Luis at saka ni Jessie. I'm so happy for the couple and I pray that they prosper and that God bless them with a happy, prosperous, and happy, and healthy life. Ayan po ang ating dalawang kumunaw, Elena Dana, Derek Ramsey, Luis Manzano at Jessie Mendiola. Ngayon naman, punta tayo mga kaibigan sa Drop and Ask. Simple lamang po mga kaibigan, you can drop a virtual gift for a good cause and then you can ask a question. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa portion na ito. Narito po ang unang katanungan from Huffle Chick. Hello, Tito Boy. May I ask lang po, what book would you recommend me to read during this ECQ po? Mamaya pag-uusapan namin ni Moira because right after my interview with Moira just before the lockdown, I recommended a book to Moira. But right now, the first book that comes to mind na paulit-ulit kong binabasa is The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Bakit? Dahil ang daming panahon na takot ako. Ang daming anticipatory grief. Alam mo, hindi pa nangyayari, namumroblema na ako. So, I keep on, hindi naman, siguro mga dalawang beses, I browsed the book once and then I read pages once in a while. Ang librong ito kasi, nagsasabi that all we have is now. All we have is now. So, celebrate what you have. Celebrate the present. Stop worrying about things that have not happened yet because they're not real. They may not even happen. Now, the question is, paano Tito Boy magplaplano? Paano ka naman how do you create your pathway? No, that's part of your present. You know, what you do in the present is your present. Even if you're thinking about the future. And the past is gone. This is by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. He has a series of books about the power of now. Kasi kung iisipin ho natin, today, as we talk, all we have is really just now. Just now. So that's what I'm going to recommend to Huffle Chick. Mula naman kay, Judy Lee. Judy Lee. Hi po, Tito Boy. Hope you're safe and well. Thank you. What does it take to be a good and successful host? If I want to make it as big as a host, where should I start? Thank you po, and God bless. a lot of success that happens to people, not just to hosts, but to singers, to actors. Madami akong masasabi, pero bawat isa kasi may kanya-kanya tayong kwento. Huwag kang bibitaw sa pangarap mo. Huwag kang bibitaw and don't give up on your dreams. And work hard for it. Work hard for it. Mag-aral ka. Kasi ako nag-umpisa ako as a host, I didn't know what I was doing. I was a talent manager. I was handling talents. And before that, I was a publicist when I was given a chance to host. Pero nung ako binigyan ng pagkakataon, I started to read stories of world famous hosts. I started to watch talk shows. I did my homework. I did my homework. I was watching people. And ito yung madalas kong ginagawa nun. Bakit gusto ko siya? Dahil, halimbawa pag napapanood ko si the great Barbara Walters or Matt Lauer, for example, ang tanong ko lagi sa sarili ko, bakit gusto ko siya? Bakit hindi ko gusto ang interview na ito? I would watch not to critique. I would watch basically to teach myself. Pero it doesn't happen by accident, Judalee. It doesn't happen by accident. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of hard work. May mga pagkakataon na, and don't be afraid to commit mistakes. There was a time in my career as a talk show host, ayoko magbukas ng bibig ko kasi natatakot akong matapilok, mabisaya ako, ang E nagiging E, ang O nagiging O, because I was not embracing my truth. So the important thing is you have to embrace your core. You have to embrace your story. You have to embrace who you are. Kasi pag na-embrace mo yun, komportable ka. You can laugh at yourself. I was so conscious because I wanted to be perfect, but there is nothing in this world that's perfect. That's one. And then be mentored. If you can find a mentor, I would suggest that you be mentored by someone. It can be a teacher. Sometimes mentors are not even people known to you personally. Pinanonood mo lang. I was mentored by the greatest hosts in the world. I was mentored by Miss Oprah. Walang ka muang-muang si Aling Oprah. Pinanonood ko. I would observe her. I would look at her. I would look at her face. I would study how she phrases questions. Tapos alaman ko na si Oprah, when she was starting as a talk show host, ganun din palang ginagawa niya. Ginagaya niya si Barbara Walters. May mga paganong-ganon. Until sabi nga ni Oprah, until I realized I could not be Barbara Walters. So when she started to realize that, the best way to do it is to be Oprah Winfrey. So ang madaling sagot dyan ay stay true to your core. Stay true to your heart. And don't give up. Never, ever give up. Ang ating pangatlong katanungan ay mula kay Aling Carling. Hi, Tito Boy. First of all, love you po. Love you too. And my question po ay kung meron, sino ang pinakaayaw ninyong na-interview or worst interview you've ever done? Thank you. This is not because I'm afraid to name names. Pero every time there's a bad interview I do, ang una kong, for lack of a better word, ang una kong sinisisi ay hindi yung guest ko. Ako. Baka hindi ako nakinig ng mabuti, baka hindi ako nag-follow up, baka hindi ako ready, baka marami. But I don't blame any guest for whatever performance I have. And I always say, this is the best thing about our business, because now if I felt something was wrong with my performance, I look forward to the next one. I look forward to the next interview. And I always say, I'll be better. As a matter of fact, the best interview is always the next one. So yun, but I am not in the habit of blaming my guests. I am just as good as how I prepare for a particular interview. Maraming salamat doon sa mga nagtanong, nag-drop, and nag-ask. Here we go. One of the most exciting moments during this pandemic. I've been asking for her. Sabi ko nga, when can I see her? Wala lang, she comes to the set, she comes to the show, we do nothing but laugh, and it's just so sweet, good vibes. And I call her now the queen. She is, ladies and gentlemen, Moira dela Torre.
Aw, Tito Boy!
Hi.
Thank you! I'm so
I,
happy to be with you again.
I am just so happy. You know, kanina, I was talking about the power of now. I don't know if you've come across the book, Eckhart Tolle. Ito naman hindi to depressing. Pero it's a book that kasi when breath becomes air. I recommend that to you. And it's not a nice book to read during the pandemic. But if you
Nope.
get a, if you get a chance, get that book, Moy.
Okay.
The Power of Now. Kasi, di ba, wala naman talaga. All we have today, all we have is now.
Yes.
Di ba? Yun
Yeah.
lang talaga. So how are you? How have you been?
I've been doing very well. I'm very privileged to see that. And very blessed to say that Jason and I have been well, and we've been getting work put in the pandemic.
Correct.
And we get to take care of our family. So I have no complaints. I'm just very blessed to be where we are now.
Yeah, even naman as a person, you're not the complaining type. But just to inspire people who are eavesdropping. Kasi kanina, how do you become a successful singer? How do you another thing that I learned from you is a sense of patience. Because if you guys know the story of Moira, it's not as if she sang Monday and she made it big Tuesday. Di ba? When you remember your story, I mean, what would you want to share with us, Moy?
That waiting is part of the journey. Like
Oh,
I
nga.
think I always share that. Um, I think in my interview with Ate Tony a few weeks ago, we were. I don't think this was included in the interview, but we were talking about how people find it hard to celebrate their journey when they're still in the middle of the journey. Like most of the time, what's celebrated is the beginning, the first step, and the graduation. But sometimes, a lot of times, like myself, um, I find it so hard to celebrate myself when I'm in the in betweens, when I'm still in the process, when I'm a work in progress. I feel like I have to have it all together at once. And I feel and as I was sharing this with Ate Tony, I remembered one thing that my lola shared with me when I was younger, and I was trying to start, and I was like, Lola, gusto ko na magsulat talaga, or just sing, but I'm still not thin enough. I can't belt. And then she goes, just do it. And then I remember that moment so vividly. Yes, the preparation. Yes, to being excellent. But no to waiting to have it all together before you take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like a lot of us now, especially, our generation now, we're also scared to
Yeah.
put ourselves out there, to take a leap of faith. But if you really believe that this is for you, if you believe this is your calling, if this is your passion, just do it. Go for it. Take the first step. And also, I needed, like, this was not something that I learned when I was in waiting. But I feel like what I want to share with the generation now is to be secure and to find validation in God and yourself. Because
That's very
when
true.
you work, when you start working, when you start doing something, when you express yourself through whatever creative outlet you have, if it's good, you should just be proud of it, even if no one else validates you. Because that's what's debilitating when you work for the approval of others. And even if your work is so good and it's so filled with passion, when you don't get enough likes, when you don't get enough shares, when you don't get the outcome that you want, you just throw it away, and you forget the beauty that you got out of creating it, out of just being a creator. Um, But yeah, I think that's what I would want to share. That believe in yourself first, and don't find your security in other people. Yeah,
And it takes a while, though. It takes a while.
takes a while.
Building character. Yeah, I know. But I wanted to ask you. You talked about the in betweens because you don't celebrate yourself during the in betweens. How do
Yeah.
you express gratitude during the in betweens if you don't celebrate? I mean, in a good way, yeah. When you don't celebrate yourself, what is your expression of thank you?
Hmm. Um, I don't know about you, Tito Boy, but I'm my worst critic.
Talaga.
I'm
Oh,
my worst critic, and I really bring myself down. And I think a lot of the times that I had my biggest breakthroughs, I was punishing myself. I wasn't celebrating myself. And recently, in the last year, dahil nga nag-pandemic, nasa bahay lang tayo, um, I was left to my own thoughts. And I realized how actually it's so cool how you mentioned the power of now, because just the title itself just gives it away, like being at the
yeah,
present time, and you know embracing the full power of the present.
the present.
um
Yeah.
because Jason, he was looking through old videos of ours of just a few days ago actually, and he came across this video from exactly a year ago, and I remembered what I was feeling at that time. I was hiding. I was hiding from the camera. I felt fat. I felt ugly. I didn't feel like my skin was good enough. But then looking back at it now, I was I was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to hide. I didn't have to put myself down for it. And then I realized I don't remember a single time that I actually felt confident. And that broke my heart. That really broke my heart. And so ever since that moment, Jason and I started doing words of affirmation just to like train my head. I am good. I am worthy. I can do all things through Christ. I am beautiful. I am loved, and all these things.
And
And
I
to just
am
help
valid.
myself, I am valid. Yes.
Diba? That's very important. There's a very important word. Kanina, you spoke about validation. How do you speak to this generation when validation is really tantamount to likes, to shares, to, all these things? How do you speak to them and say, hey, go to your hearts, go to your family, go to your partner, go to your boyfriend? Ang hirap, no?
Hirap po. And I'm guilty of it. You know,
I
it's
am also guilty of that.
yeah, it's something that we have to consciously practice and be
But it's
mindful
manageable.
of.
It's manageable.
It's
Mindful.
manageable,
Yeah,
yes. And
it's
don't get
manageable.
me wrong, like it's great when you have likes. It's great when you
Oh
get
yeah.
to, you know, create make a living out of your social media. But we have to remember that this is not the entirety of life. There's
That's
life outside of it. And sometimes we get so consumed by social media that we forget to live and to let people love us. We forget to love without our phones. Um,
yeah. Moira, were you mentored? How'd you reach this point? Kasi kanina, I was thinking, yeah, it's always to me, it's always better to connect the dots in hindsight. The beginning and the not naman the end, but when you're able to, okay, this is my journey so far. How did you overcome the self-flagellation? How do you overcome the tendency to denigrate, uh, to diminish yourself? Paano mo nalampasan yun? You use
honestly,
the word debilitate actually.
yeah. Honestly, Tito Boy, I'm still not entirely out of it. A lot of times I would tell my stories through songs, but I tell stories that are already done, and all
Oo.
I tell stories that I've already gotten out of. But
Right.
I realize also how a story is most a story can be also very effective when you tell it from where you are now, and how powerful it is to tell people to love themselves in the in-betweens, when you yourself are in the in-between and you're practicing what you're you're sharing to people. And um with me, what happens when I write, how Malaya was fall, how
Yeah.
Patawad was winter. What what's crazy for me is when I write these stories, I actually live through them. Sometimes I get walked through life's journeys with just a pen and paper, and I write down what I'm going through. And when I write it down, I see mentally what where I've gone and where God has taken me. And I feel like, yes, I have a mentor. I actually started seeing this neuroscientist. Her name's Karel, and she's amazing. She just walks me through everything. She helps me
Wow.
dissect everything. She's my therapist, and I'm a very strong advocate of, getting help if you need it, not
Of course.
being afraid to get help. And I need that help. I needed that help, and she's been really helping me. And of course, Jason, Jason, um, Jason is the opposite of me. If I'm my worst critic, he's his biggest fan. he's, he's very confident. If I'm my biggest basher, he's his greatest fan.
I
And
love
so
that.
we balance each other out,
Yeah.
and he helps me get out of the rut that I dig for myself. And also, Tito Boy, practical things like, now I'm learning that my mental health has a lot to do with what I eat, with how much I move in a day. It when the If you need serotonin, work out. And it's like that. If I'm feeling sad, I assess I didn't drink enough water today. Like,
Yeah.
little things just to help yourself. I mean, not all cases are like that. There are times that I've gotten it all done. Nagawa ko lahat ng kailangan kong gawin, pero bagsak pa rin ako. But you do what you can, and sometimes it's just really practical things. And what actually, Tita Boy, I'll show you. What has been helping me a lot now is my journal. Like, I journal every day, where I write down on my notes, and I do my bullet journaling, and I kind of just write down, and assess, how did I do today? How did I help myself today? What did I do to better myself today? What could I do better tomorrow? Like, practical things like that, so that at the end of the day, gumaling man ako or hindi, alam kong ginawa ko lahat para tulungan yung sarili ko.
Para dun sa mga nagtatanong kung nakakatulong ang journals, ako din, we were not supposed, can you imagine, since the beginning,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh!
but most of my entries are actually prayers. I am very
Same.
spiritual. I'm very prayerful. These are almost, I wanna, sabi ko nga, after this I want to put up a book. These are letters to God.
Oh my
These are,
gosh, Tito Boy!
yeah,
Same! Dear
talag.
God, all my journal entries start with Dear God.
Ako din. You know, the first word is always Lord. It's a letter. It's really,
Yeah.
and it has helped. It has really helped me. Galing, no? Tingnan mo the commonalities, and it's right here. Okay, Moira, you waited for a long time before you made it, and this is really inspirational to a lot of. Kasi lalo na ngayon, Moy, ang hirap sumikat in a landscape that's too open.
Yeah.
It's too open.
Yeah.
Anybody can sing, anybody can dance, anybody can declaim, anybody can, di ba? It's ngayon nga, as halimbawa, because I've been in the business of managing public personalities, dati, when people would say, how do you make it? Meron ka pang attempt sumagot. Ngayon
Yes.
talaga? Oo, ngayon talaga? Hindi ko alam. But during your time, naalala ko, season talaga of belters. I have nothing against belting because I'm a fan of a lot of belters. How was that? How was that?
Oh, it was Tito Boy. Actually, um, I started writing songs as a means of expression and outlet because at that time I was going through depression, but I wasn't aware of it, and I needed an outlet, so I started writing songs. And then I remember signing with my management Cornerstone when I was 14, 15. And they were asking me, oh, can you sing this? Can you sing that? And then Tito Eric just said, do you write your own songs? And I was like, yeah. Oh, sing that na lang. And it felt at first scary because it wasn't big. I couldn't belt. And then there were
Mhm.
like, every time we were in a show, I'd always be the most boring performer because I couldn't belt. And um but later on, I just started embracing my own sound because I couldn't reach the high notes. I just made my own high notes, something high for
Right,
me. I
right.
made my own music, and it was scary. I didn't think this was gonna happen to me, but something beautiful always happens when you embrace who you really are.
That's true.
And I feel like people get to resonate with my songs because they really come from, you know, an actual place that I've been in. It was always written, all my songs were always written to express and never really to impress. And yeah, I feel like that applies also to how I felt. Ate Caris, I don't know if you know Ate Caris.
Yes,
She's one of
yes,
the, yeah,
yes.
she used to be my handler before, and we're still really close now. And when I asked her before, I was very angsty because everyone was making it in Cornerstone except for me. And I said, Ate, what do I have to do? Do I have to lose weight? Do I have to cut my hair? Do I have to color my hair? Do I have to take voice lessons? And then she just told me out of nowhere. She just said, Moy, express yourself. Never impress, because when the moment you impress, you create to impress people, you will lose yourself. But the moment you just express who you are, what your passion is, then you'll be a magnet. It can't be the other
Right.
way around.
No, and I wanted
And
people to understand that. It's a very important point. Kasi
yeah,
kanina may nagtanong, paano ba sisikat, etc. You really have to go back to your core. Yeah, you have to embrace your story, your truth.
yeah,
No matter how unpalatable, your story sometimes is, but it's all, sabi nga ni Meryl Streep, di ba? Take your broken heart and make it into art.
yes, that's
Yeah,
me.
that's the only way. That's the only way. Yeah, because when you write your music now, halimbawa, when we listen to you, alam namin, alam namin galing dito eh, kwento eh. Oo, totoo. And because it comes from here, it doesn't only resonate, but it becomes the expression of many hearts. Kasi may commonalities tayo eh. May mga commonalities tayo. Ang galing. Can everybody sing, Moira? Do you think I have hope? Can I sing? Ay, nako.
Oo naman, Tito
Wag
Boy.
na. Wag na natin. It's too much. It's too much risk. Kanina you also said that. Take the risks and take the first step. Kasi minsan, the hardest to take is the first step.
Yeah, because we want
No?
to make sure that the next steps will be there. We don't want to be left hanging.
But
But
sometimes, you need to fall. You need to
yeah,
fall for you to hang on. Diba?
actually,
Hang
Tito
on.
Boy, my best friend, she has this online devotional. It's called Our Secret Place Online, and she talked about how she wants to change the name of failure to two words: practice and preparation, because the best the most successful people aren't they didn't get to that place because they got it all together. It's because they failed the most. And there's this line, I don't know if who she quoted, but it said, maybe by learning how to lose the war, we find a new way to win the war. And it's so great because like it's so true because we're so afraid of failure. We're so afraid to take that leap of faith. Faith is so scarce nowadays because we're afraid to fail. We're afraid to get bashed. We're afraid to
Yeah.
not get enough likes.
And everybody has an
But
opinion about who you are. Everybody has an opinion as to how you should look, appear, etc.
yes,
Kaya kailangan, I believe in mentoring children, for example,
yeah,
mentoring people who are growing up. I mean, young boys and young girls, so that they see certain points. Alam mo si Oprah, meron ding preparation, success naman,
yeah.
preparation and opportunity.
Oh wow,
uh, Preparation meeting opportunity is what she calls success. Ang daming
that's
ang
beautiful.
gagaling nila. Ang gagaling nila. Let's go to Paubaya.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan. I mean, when it came out, how did this come about? How did this come about?
um, it's actually the last track of the album, Tito Boy,
Yes.
and Jason and I, we really wanted to save two songs after the pandemic because we released 10 of the songs when the pandemic hit. So we wanted to save two, and then we already had two, but it didn't feel like it was a closer for the album enough. So while we were in the States in quarantine, Jason gave me a chord pattern, and I put a melody to it, and um he made a poem, and we made a song out of it because at that point we were putting all our heartaches together and just making a painful song, and we wanted to make sure that the last line, after everything that you've sacrificed and lost and had to give away, that you surrender to God. And we wanted to make sure that the K in the Kanya was a capital K because what else can you do in the middle of a pandemic but surrender everything to God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The casting of Julia and Joshua. Whose idea was this? Ganda.
The two of us, we've always been a fan of
Galing.
Jocelyn. Thank you, Tito
Galing.
Boy. And actually, while we were writing the song, the scene that was flashing in our heads also was the bridge scene in "Love You to the Stars and Back." So by the time we were conceptualizing for the music video, we couldn't imagine anyone else doing it anymore.
I love that kind of a closure because a couple of weeks after that, I did an interview with Gerald Anderson, and I was asked by a writer as to what do you think Gerald achieved. Sabi ko hindi ko alam, pero baka freedom. Oo, siguro baka. I mean, each one to his own way journey, 'di ba?
Yeah,
To be free, to be free.
yeah.
Um, when you write a song, kayo ni Jason ngayon, when you write your story, do you have to like the story? Are there instances when you judge the story, or is it bad?
Usually, Tito Boy, when we have a story, we usually went through it, or
Um,
someone we love went through it. Um, yeah. No? Tito Boy, this is Jason's here.
Hi, Jason. Hi, Jason. Nakakailang views na. I mean, I'm just so excited about, I think I've seen it like more than 15 times
Oh, thank you, Tito Boy.
in just a number of, beautiful. I just loved it. I just loved
Yeah.
it. It's really one of the best things that came out during the pandemic.
Thank
You have
you.
anything? Do you have anything that you want to invite people to?
Ah, I'm currently on a short break, but
You deserve that.
Thank you. But we are on an active break. Actually, we're finishing my spring album, so that's coming out soon, I hope. And we recorded a bunch of international singles, so we're very excited for that. Um, but yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
have for now.
I always remember kasi last March nung nag-lockdown, I would read spiritual materials, etc. Pero alam mo, Moira, kung saan ako kumapit, that line of why are you afraid? Have you no faith? To this very day,
Yeah.
the first entry I have in my journal is that line. Because I keep on
Wow.
going back to that line every time I'm afraid. That's the
Wow.
power of, di ba? That's the power of words. It's the power of now. Parang, o nga naman, ba't ako matatakot? Nandiyan naman ang Diyos eh.
Yeah.
He will
Wow.
take me. Oh, that was the first. That was my first entry. I remember that.
Wow, I love that, Tito Boy. My first entry
Uh-huh.
was, "My Lord will help me, and strength is on the way. Be strong and
Oh,
of good courage, for this is your inheritance."
ganda. Ang ganda. Ang ganda. Well, hindi tayo, the thing about, I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Last year, I was so afraid. Pero naging mas takot ako ngayong year. Alam mo, I don't know why. We were able to survive 2020. Sabi ko, Lord, end COVID. And then somebody was saying, ano kayo mangyayari after COVID? Sabi ko, sobra naman tayo. If we do not become better people, I don't know. I don't know what will happen after this whole episode of the pandemic. I think we should be a more compassionate, kinder. We should be more generous, di ba? We should be more giving. We should be more forgiving people. After this dark stage in our lives.
Yeah, but you know what, Tito Boy, my friend Jessie, she said something to me the other day. She said that at this point, she really believes that miracles are about to happen, and I really want to
Sure.
put my faith in that. And she said, once the pandemic is over, now that we can't even figure out how it's gonna end, then we will have no other response to it but God must be behind
Yeah.
this healing that came.
Yeah.
And so I'm putting my faith in that, and I resonate with you. I have never had insomnia before, but this year I developed it. Um, and it's just scary. It's valid.
Yeah.
You're not alone, Tito Boy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. But I love that we're journaling together and putting our prayers together, because
Yeah.
I know
And why
it's
should
gonna
we be
grow our faith.
afraid? Have you no faith?
Yeah.
Kapit na kapit talaga ako doon. Moy, maraming salamat. But we're not leaving yet because we're going to our portion, which is called My Kay Ka. Di ba? We usually invite a young singer, and most of them are unsigned. They perform, and then let's see what questions they have for us. I will answer as, a practitioner in the industry, and hopefully you can help us as a singer. And I'd like to bring in he is actually a Kumu streamer, and his name is Baste Sylvester Garcia Aquino. Hi, Baste.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi,
Tito Boy.
Pastor.
Hi, Miss Moira. Good
Hello.
evening po.
Baste,
Ah,
saan ka? Nasa Pilipinas ka? Nasa labas?
andito po ako sa UAE ngayon.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. You exactly where? Baste.
Another emirate po siya. Before sa Dubai po ako. Ngayon ay Ras Al Khaimah. I remember, Miss Moira, pumunta po kayo sa school ko dati. Sa Philippine
Oh!
school. Yes.
Oh, that's so
Oh.
fun! Oh my gosh, I love that. Like, door to
Yeah.
door lang kami doon, Tito
Yeah.
Boy.
Kum-
Nakakak lang ako.
Kumusta? Kumusta ang buhay dyan? Sylvester. Baste na lang.
Basti na lang po. Fighting po, medyo normal na po yung buhay po namin dito dahil nagka-vaccine na po kami, tapos na po sa double dose ng vaccine. And
Tapos na ang double
opo,
dose. Anong
Inuna po
vaccine ang,
kami,
anong vaccine kayo?
Sinopharm po yung sa amin, yung mga
Okay.
nauna, na batch.
Ano yan, lahat? O are you a frontliner? O talaga lahat sabay-sabay?
Inuna po kami ng mga frontliners.
Okay. That's good news. Dahil dito sa atin hindi pa masyado na hindi pa nako-cover ang marami. Pero I think everybody's trying. How long have you been there?
I've been here for 4 years na po, Tito Boy.
Tagal
Tagal
na
na po.
rin. How's the weather?
Ngayon po ay pa-summer na po dito, so medyo mainit-init na po sa labas.
Okay. Sana sasama ako kay Moira next time. Door to door din ako.
Opo, sa school po namin.
Okay. Sa school because what? You're teaching?
Opo, I'm a teacher po.
What do you teach?
Computer subject, and meron pa po isa, citizenship. It's a subject for non-Muslims and non-Catholics.
Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. What is your background? What do you need to study to be able to teach citizenship
Computer po.
no, the other one, citizenship and yeah, computer, and then the citizenship and the other word, another word.
Ayun po, citizenship and computer lang po yung
Oo.
tinuturo ko po dito.
What do you need to know to be able to teach citizenship sa UAE? Ganon?
Opo, actually, yung citizenship po for UAE, since I'm a Christian din po, wala naman po masyadong requirement po doon. So as long as, yung topics po kasi namin, lessons po na general po siya. So it's like being a good citizen, ganyan. So general po yung topic po namin.
Okay. And you're having fun. You're having
Yes
fun.
po.
Are you teaching high school, college?
Ngayon po dito ba, actually, I'm teaching all levels from year 1 to year 9.
Galing. And then, you still find time to sing.
Yes po, ito po yung passion ko po talaga, Tito Boy. Even sa church po, I'm a worship leader too.
Oh, okay. We want to listen to you sing. Basta, kung pwede.
Yes po.
Sige.
Kinakabahan ako. Here's a song by Miss Jaya po, yung Hanggang Dito na Lang. Di ko alam kung tama ba ito. Bilisan ako upang maintindihan ko ang buwang sa puso't isipan. Kailangang gawin, ngunit masasaktan. Iiwasan ko landas nating pinagdaanan. Pipilitin kong kalimutan ka. Hanggang dito na lang, pilit ko mang ipaglaban ating pagmamahal. Ito'y balewala sapagkat ako'y iniwan. Hanggang dito na lang, ikaw itong nagpaalam-alam kong hanggang dito na lang. Sabi mo sa akin ako'y iyong mahal. Ako'y hindi iiwan, magsasama habang buhay. Anong nangyari sa iyong pangako na aking pinaniwalaan? Tamis ng kahapon, di maintindihan, sakit na nararamdaman. Pipilitin kong kalimutan ka. Hanggang dito na lang, pilit ko mang hanggang ipaglaban ating pagmamahalan. Ito'y baliwala sapagkat ako'y iniwan hanggang dito na lang. Ikaw ito nagpaalam, alam ko hanggang dito na lang. Malaya ka na, sa'yo'y paalam na. Kahit masaktan man ako, hanggang dito na lamang ito. Hanggang dito na lang, pilit ko mang ipaglaban ating pagmamahalan. Ito'y baliwala sapagkat ako'y iniwan hanggang dito na lang. Ikaw itong nagpaalam, alam kong hanggang dito na lang. Thank you so much po.
Maraming salamat. Thank you very much. Nakakatuwa. Anong tawag dito? Habang kumakanta ka, wala kang neighbor?
Wala po. Ano po, yung place po namin, Tito Boy, malapit po siya sa beach, yung flat po
Ang
namin.
sarap. Ang sarap.
Opo.
Okay. At when was the last time you were home?
December 2019, supposedly po every summer po ng school dito, July. Umuwi po ako yearly, Tito Boy, but because of COVID, hindi po ako nakaka-uwi ngayon.
Correct. What would you want to ask Moira?
Actually, Miss Moy, narinig ko yung mga stories mo na kay Ate Tony, sa mga previous interviews mo, parang sobrang inspiring ka. I think siguro wala akong masyadong itatanong, but I'll just ask for an advice sa aspiring singer like me. Ang dami kong fears din, ang dami kong takot na yung mga tao hindi ako paniniwalaan, mababash ako, na parang yung confidence level ko nababawasan siya actually every time na hindi mo kaya yan, ganun. So yun po.
Kuya, basta, no? First of all, I wanna commend you. When you first started singing, parang parang damang-dama mo lahat. Yung parang paiyak ka na rin. And that's such a great thing to have when you're a performer and when you're singing, because it's not even a song that you wrote, but you were singing it as if you wrote it. So I love that. I really love that. Second, not a lot of people believed in me either. But my Lola, sorry, I'm always quoting my Lola, but she was really my biggest influence. And she said, when you focus on your craft and you are excellent in your craft, then you will not have time to think about what other people think about you. You just focus on it. Better your craft. Sing as much as you want. Write if you want to. Express yourself and be excellent. And fill your time with so much of that you wouldn't have time to think about what other people will say about you. Because you're already so great at your expression. And so I think if you spend most of your time doing that, you will have less fears.
Ganda. Alam mo kami, Baste, I teach public speaking. You know how we define fear? Fear is knowing that something is going to go wrong. That's the reason why you have to avoid that. Now, when you repeat it, you repeat that to yourself, nako, pagtatawanan ako, blah, 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 paulit-ulit, it becomes anxiety. And there is nothing worse in public speaking than starting with fear, you become anxious. Kaya meron kaming, ang tawag namin power declaration. Halimbawa, bago ka sumampa ng entablado, we usually, because you can influence your mind, and you can change your mind. You can change your mindset. Yung sinasabi nilang, magaling ako, gusto kong palakpakan nila ako. But of course, you work hard for it. Hindi naman dumating ka lang doon tapos kumanta. But you can change your frame of reference para ma-address mo yung fear. Number 2, yung sinasabi mong ang dami kong insecurities, do not operate from the point of weakness. Huwag doon sa weakness. I'm talking as a public speaking teacher. Because when you start from the point of weakness, hihina ka talaga. Diba? And then Moira keeps on talking about Lola. Kailangan natin yon. Ako, I always talk about nanay. We have anchors. She can be a friend, she can be a dad, she can be a co-teacher, but you need an anchor. Kailangan may anchor. And surround yourself with positive people. Importante yun eh. Yung hindi ka binobola, pero importante na naririnig mo yung validation that is necessary. Medyo basta hindi masyado maganda, kinabahan ka dito, etc. You need that. And then, halimbawa sa UAE, market yourself. Sell yourself. Ako, I believe in selling and marketing. Do you sing in weddings? Do you sing in church? Do you sing? Market yourself. There are many ways of doing it.
Tito Boy, sa Lamay. Yung mga guests sa Lamay.
I remember. Right. So, learn how to sell and learn how to market yourself. So, you do pictorials, you do excerpts of whatever song, pero hindi ito, nothing happens by accident. Hindi yung, mahusay naman ako kumanta, but hindi ako kinukuha. Because people don't know. You know, in your community, for example, sell yourself. And may kinalakhan tayong notion kasi na pag ibinenta mo ang sarili mo, sobra naman to, hindi na nahiya. Binenta niya ang hindi. You have to promote yourself. And that's important. And then, tama si Moira. I mean, the best way to do a song, the best way to do a song, dance, acting, should come from the heart.
Agree po.
Oo. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Sir
Thank you po. Thank you po, Tito
Maraming
Boy,
salamat,
Miss
Pastor.
Moy. Thank you so much po for this opportunity. I'm so grateful and blessed na nabigyan ako ng pagkakataon na makausap po kayo, even virtually. Virtual lang siya, pero sobrang thankful po ako. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat.
Thank
Pastor.
you.
I will
Thank you.
remember
All the best.
those points po.
All the best. Maraming salamat, Pastor.
Thank you po. Pwede po mag-screenshot lang po ako. Kasama po.
Yeah. Go. First time itong may screenshot, ha? Pero nagandahan ko ang ngiti ko. Salamat.
Thank you po. God bless po, Tito Boy, Miss Moy. God
Bye-bye.
bless po.
Sir Pastor.
Salamat. Moy, salamat.
Thank you, Tito Boy.
Sana, magkikita din tayo very soon.
Yes, please.
God's good
Yes,
time.
please.
And thank you, Jason. Thank you for just being there. maraming salamat,
But I
Jason.
just want to say, whenever people ask me what my favorite interviews are, it's always with you. I
Maraming
really love
salamat.
talking to you. Thank you for always having me.
Me naman, you make me happy. I don't know, because I've done thousands and thousands of interviews. I mean, from politicians to movie stars. But you're one of the very few who makes me happy. Look forward. I told you this. I look forward to talking to you. Wala lang. It's a vibe that's happy. Sobra.
Thank you so much to me. I love you, Tito Boy.
I love you.
Thank you.
Salamat. Inubuhan ako doon. Nasa mid. Thank you, Moy. And I will see you soon. Maraming salamat. Bye-bye. Hindi ako pwede mag-singer. Nasa mid po ako. Napakahirap yata ako kumanta. But thank you very much, guys, sa inyong pagiging bahagi ng ating best talk ngayong gabi. Thank you very much. Kahit panandalian lamang ay nakapagbigay kami ng isang palabas na kahit papano ay nagbigay ng aliw at nagbigay ng entertainment po sa inyo. I'd like to thank, of course, the great Moira. Oh, what a girl. I mean, what a girl, really. And Baste, maraming salamat sa he is based pala the UAE. And just to close this, yes, I'd like to talk about the power of now. Take care of your now. Take care of the present, because that's all we have. And I learned this again from Moira. Lalo na dun sa mga nag-uumpisang mga singers, do not perform to impress. Perform to express. Di ka magkakamali doon. Galing, di ba? And if you want to make it in the business, you have to take the first step. Maraming salamat. We hope to see you again very, very soon. Maraming salamat. Cinema One, tayo napapanood sa Cinema One channel, Facebook and YouTube channel of Cinema One, and on my Facebook channel, my Facebook fan page, Boy Abunda Official, on my YouTube channel, the Boy Abunda Talk channel. Maraming salamat sa inyong suporta. God bless. Stay kind. Stay healthy. Really stay healthy. And make your nanay proud. Goodbye for now.